How's it going, everybody? Nick Daniels here yet again, bringing you folks another video. This is yet again another movie review here, as I've recently obtained some Netflix after I started watching some shite. This movie I'm pretty sure I saw years ago, but we're gonna talk about it here. So it's called Unknown. It's got Liam Neeson in it. The guy's a really good actor. I really think so. We're gonna quickly go over the plot here, what I thought of the movie. We won't make it too long, so let's get into it. So basically, this guy's goes to a hotel with his wife in the beginning. There's not much other context than that, and he leaves a suitcase behind. Okay, and they take a taxi and they go to this hotel. So that the suitcase right now is at the airport, and before he gets into the hotel with his wife, he just jumps right back on the taxi. I gotta go. And he doesn't even like think about it. He doesn't say anything about it. You have no idea why that suitcase is so important that he couldn't even go tell his wife. And on his way back, he actually ends up getting in a car accident in the taxi, hits his head, loses some memory, and can't remember who he is. So he tries to go to his wife, but now she says she doesn't recognize him. She doesn't know who the hell he is. And there's a man in his place, and now his name, his passport, his everything. Literally to the point that they had a photo together, him and his wife, where she was like sitting on his lap, and they had like a you know, they're smiling. Well, now it's this guy. So it's like literally looked like he sorry, he took over his identity, is what it looks like. Now, clearly that's not the case. So he does all this investigative work, right? And he gets to the bottom that, okay, like clearly something's going on. And there's actually a point or two where a person or two are coming after him and they're trying to kill him. So he knows something's up. He's like, people are trying to get me and whatever, right? Like obviously something's afoot. So later into the movie, he actually finally confronts an old friend of his that he thought was supposed to be his friend for like 15 years, but it was actually like basically like his boss. And it actually turns out what was in that suitcase is actually all the information about why he's an assassin. And he rocks like different identities, and he starts to finally get pieces back in his memory that you know, this is actually true. And he actually set up this whole operation, and he remembers 3 months ago he went to the same hotel and he's put bombs in there, and it's actually supposed to be that night that he's supposed to blow up this building, because there's a gentleman there who's come up with this new strain of corn. They want to take over the idea, you know, yada yada yada. And his replacement is obviously the guy who actually technically took the identity, but it's a fake identity. So what actually happened is when he hit his head, is the fake identity he actually thought was real. He thought that's really who he was, but he literally just recited it. And it also makes sense because he approaches this doctor at one point when the other guy's there, and he's like, no, it's me, like we talked on the phone. And what it's really funny is because they actually start talking at the same time. Okay, we go this way, there's a car coming up, so I'm going this way. But yeah, they start talking at the exact same time, and they start saying the same thing, which is really funny, because at first you really think like this guy totally took his identity, but it's not even fucking feasible, right? It's not even like, how the fuck did he do that? It was literally like he just started talking. You know, like it's like, man, we had a phone call, we talked about this, and then all of a sudden, like word for word, they started speaking right at the same time. So you know something's wrong there. So either he's right and they have stolen his identity, or something else is fucked up, right? And of course the doctor's like, no, you're too obsessed. But again, when they try to kill him at the doctor's and other places, he starts learning that something's off. Again, by the end of the movie, he does get the suitcase, and he's confronted, and he actually learns that he actually was some killer. Now, really, at the end of the movie, it's really cool because he ends up reversing it, so he stops the bombs from going. The wife, he doesn't even confront at that point because he knows it's all fabricated, and she ends up getting blown up by the bombs anyway, which was actually kind of nice. And the guy that now was with the wife, okay, so who's supposed to replace him, I remember like the whole story, like he's one of the main guys that now he is this Martin Harris, technically. It was funny because the buddy's like, he looks at him, he's like, you've forgotten everything, didn't you? And he looks right back at him, and he's like, not everything. He's like, I remembered how to kill you. And all of a sudden, he actually just starts fighting like a fucking badass. Like this whole time, he's been a little sloppy on his fighting skill. And I was like, man, for an assassin, he kind of sucks. But right then, it's actually like he almost actually remembered how to fight. And oh my god, man, he just fucking annihilated this guy. Like, he didn't even have a chance. Like, that would, honestly, it was probably, if anything, that was probably the best part of the entire film. Was just the fact that he just like literally fucking stabbed a piece of glass in the guy's neck and just ended him in like a heartbeat. Like, it was like a Mortal Kombat kind of style, man. It was just like fatality. And that was it. Excuse me. But yeah, honestly, it was a really good movie. Kind of one of those flicks. Like, you know, you can just kind of watch it. You don't really have to get too much into it. But either way, I don't know. Like I said, it was good, but I probably wouldn't really watch it a second time. I mean, technically, I think that was my second time, but I think I just literally forgot what the hell happened. Actually, I didn't even remember watching it until the very end. That was the only time I clued in that I've seen the movie. And then again is when he killed Buddy with the glass. I'm like, no, that actually looks very familiar. I'm pretty sure I've seen this, but again, like, this was probably like years ago, like whenever the movie first came out. But anyway, other than that, that's about it there, folks. So thank you so much for watching. Check it out. Unknown, good movie, not too shabby, definitely worth a watch or two, maybe not 3, maybe 2. Ooh, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.